With Witch Doctor rods, every single rod we build is made from the ground up. With 91 rods, sometimes it gets a little trying, but everything starts with the component layout. The simplest piece in the whole setup is our fighting butt. The EVA foam butt is something that's really soft against the body. It's very simplistic and it's a great design. Here I have a typical setup for a casting grip layout. And there's some little features here on Witch Doctor rods that I'd like to point out that you'll generally not see on others. With most rods on the market, you're going to see fancy trim rings and various anodized parts. I don't use aluminum rings on my rod. And when you take aluminum and you epoxy it in place and you put it under load, it's actually going to break free, and at some point those will be spinning on your rod. We used rubber trim rings both on the fore and the rear ends of the rod, and it's something that once they're glued in place, they stay there. With every Witch Doctor rod, the Alps Texalium reel seat that's used on our casting models is actually fitted to each blank. In some of the series, like our flipping rods, there's no Texalium insert there. This piece is actually reamed to fit each blank and designed where we place this on the rod, you have a 10-end EVA foam reel seat that'll actually lock into place with this and keeps it secure, and you'll never have a split or a gap like you have on some of the other rods that are flush. The Texalium insert actually absorbs the epoxy, and when inserted into the reel seat and glued into place, this all becomes one with the blank. It's double keyed to keep the hood from torquing, and it features a double locking nut that has a Delrin spacer in it that when you tighten it down, it actually locks into place, and it'll keep the reel seat from coming loose under load. Again, a rubber trim ring used in front on the foregrip of the rod. This is something that will not come loose over time as the rubber's flexible and it's glued into place. The hook keeper used on Witch Doctor rods is a unique feature because it allows you to secure your baits on the rod without having to unrig them. It's not made of spring steel, it's actually untempered, so you can bend it up and keep it in place to put a large hook in there, or you can push it down and snap it into place and keep it tight. The hook keeper is excellent, especially when you have big weights on your rod and it's bouncing around in the boat. As with all 91 rods that we make, every one features a unique guide layout. I have here a typical setup of what would be on a 7-foot casting rod, and our taper goes from a size 10mm ring down to a number 4. This is not a micro guide. This is a 4mm guide, where your micro guides that you find on a lot of the bass rods are 3 and 2mm. This setup we found is the best for casting distance. It strips the line, it chokes it down, it keeps line slap off the blank, and it transitions the load throughout, giving your rod the optimum power and very, very lightweight performance. We use a recessed ring, matching tip to the last stripper guide. This is a 4mm here, and the ring being recessed into the frame aids in preventing it from getting accidentally knocked out. On all Witch Doctor rods, we feature the Alps 316 stainless guide. These guides will help you cast further. They have a rolled recessed frame that keeps that ring locked solid, and the 316 stainless helps prevent corrosions. It's what they use on the best saltwater guides out there. These are the best components that we can find. We've tried every brand, every make, and where other companies are using a reel seat that is 1/5 the price of this, this is the best performance piece on every Witch Doctor rod next to the blanks, which we proprietarily design in conjunction with rain shadow. So having all these components together on a Witch Doctor rod is similar to having the best performance car out there. You can't make a better tool for fishing than putting these components together, having them on a Witch Doctor blank, having the guides spaced properly. You're gonna have a rod that's gonna cast better, fish better, be more sensitive, and win you more checks in those tournaments.